The graphics are fabulous here. This is my favorite video game. All right, down the center.
You don't have any...
Down the center. Come on.
It's the only video game you've ever played. What do you mean it's your favorite?
It's the holiday season, and in addition to pulling out my Christmas movies on DVD, that means queuing up Christmas TV specials and commercials on YouTube for some nostalgia. It just isn't Christmas until you've watched the original broadcast version of Muppet Family Christmas, complete with the inappropriate news teaser during the credits.
I'm Dr. Timothy Johnson. Later on Nightline, it's a controversy about life and death. Do you keep a doomed baby alive so its organs can be used to save the lives of others?
Stay tuned for Julie Andrews and the Sound of Christmas.
But one group of holiday specials I keep coming back to is the Siskel and Ebert Holiday Gift Guides. From 1987 to 1993, film critics Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert would discuss the latest home video releases and entertainment technology for the holiday shopping season. The specials were far different from the regular episodes beyond just the movie recommendations. With the exception of the final special they did in 1993, the two critics would not be present on the balcony but on a different set. They'd also be shown on location where they would try out cameras and even video games. I enjoyed these videos for their dated technology, the snapshot of the era, and for revealing a different perspective on Siskel and Ebert beyond descending from their balcony. So join me in basking in the comforting nostalgia when Nintendo was the new hotness and LaserDisc was king. So let us begin with the first gift guide in 1987. Now, this special isn't entirely recorded, it's missing a few minutes from the beginning, so we're going to hit the ground running here with Gene Siskel talking about an old TV show that encouraged children to draw on the screen.
The show was CBS's Winky Dink and You, hosted by Jack Barry. And once you sent away and got your Winky Dink kit, included some special plastic to cover the TV set. Always remember to put that on, kids. They always forgot, and parents went nuts. And you got 4 special crayons and a cloth to wipe the screen clean. Anyway, you could play Winky Dink by drawing, for example, missing features on the faces of Little Winky's family album.
You know, I have a confession to make. I've never seen Winky Dink. I was too old.
And it looked like fun?
Yeah. Did you have a kit when you were a kid?
Yeah, Jack's going to tell me what to do right now.
Fine. And let's draw eyebrows on Aunt Martha, just above her eyes. Any sort of eyebrows you think she should have. Use your imagination. You know what eyebrows look like, a straight line over each eye. That's fine. Very good.
I made Aunt Martha
Draw carefully
look
so
like
it
a
doesn't
banker.
cover the eye.
That's fine, Gene. Those are probably the worst eyebrows I have ever seen.
Well, check out a mirror sometime. Now, Winky Dink and You and a lot of other old shows are available on videotape for gifts. If you want to know how to order them, we'll tell you later in the show. I think this is going to be a cult gift item. I would love to get this as a gift.
And you know, another thing, this is probably the cheapest gift because this piece of acetate cost about 15 cents.
And add a quarter for this grease pencil.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the cheapest gifts are sometimes the best.
Yeah, I'll throw away the toy, play with the box.
So I actually looked up a little bit of info on Winky Dink, and it's pretty wild. This show didn't last too long because, well, as Gene stated, some kids were encouraged to draw on the TV without the plastic covering. Another concern was the radiation emitted by televisions. The children were encouraged to get extremely close to the screen for drawing, and CBS was concerned about the health risks involved with this. So Winky Dink might have been a clever idea, but not very well thought out for the time. Still, pretty cool that kids got to feel like they were the artist drawing on the small screen. Radiation be damned.
You know, the basic idea of Winky Dink and of the Etch-a-Sketch boards has been developed into a Christmas gift this Christmas called Video Art. And what this is an electronic coloring book that allows kids to draw pictures in color on the television screen. For example, here, I push it, it's on.
Yeah, Video Art, right there.
There we go, right there. I choose another color, such as yellow, push in on the joystick, and look at that, Gene, look at that. Great art there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You drew a line.
Yes, I did. That's,
This is like the old Etch-a-Sketch.
yeah, you think that...
And you thought my eyebrows were bad. What else can this thing do?
Well, I've got something that I want you to do, Gene. I'm going to push in this activity cartridge, and I'm going to start it up again, and we're going to see a little girl there, and you were so good at drawing the eyebrows on Aunt Martha. I want to see how well... Now, you're supposed to color her in.
All right, let me see if I can color the hat.
Start with her hat. Okay. Here we go. Push in on the top of the
I'm getting a little...
joystick.
Whoa!
Wonderful,
I just want
wonderful. Wonderful. Look at this. Cubism. Amazing.
I'm getting some hat, and I'm getting some ears.
That's right. And can you imagine how long it would take you to get the nose and the eyes and the teddy bear? This is a very hard toy or program. I tried to use it yesterday, and even if you get good at it, the results look crummy. The joystick is a crude instrument to draw with. It's not just that Mr. Siskel is an inept artist, and there was no way that any kid is ever going to draw a picture that looks even half as good as the one on the box. I think that this would be a very frustrating toy to get a Christmas
I would say I'm rather frustrated. Look at what I've drawn.
Psychiatrists would have a lot of fun with that.
Here's the real one. Look at this. They got a dog jumping out of the set. This suggests that you can do 3D.
You think kids would really take that literally?
You can't even do 2D.
Would kids take that literally?
I think so. I would.
Okay, just you have to see the commercial for video art because it's far more exaggerated than the box.
Then my mom, she got smart. She got me video art. 16 colors set me free. Now the best thing on TV is me, video art. Draw my own stuff, make my own shows. It even erases, see, off it goes. Video art. Now the best thing on TV is me, video art.
Now, I have never used video art, but I do recall using a video art device and remember enjoying it because it used an actual pen instead of a joystick. What was that toy? Ah, there it is, the VTech Master Video Painter. This thing rocked. If you're going to buy one of those draw on the TV devices, this was the best one. I loved experimenting with this thing back in the day, just drawing all kinds of crap. I mean, this was the real deal. Digital art was meant to be done with a pen, not a joystick. After a commercial break, Siskel and Ebert talk about home video recommendations that are not movies or TV shows. This included music videos from Bon Jovi, a makeup guide from CoverGirl, a cooking video with Wolfgang Puck, and a quit smoking video with Larry Hagman. I always found it very impressive how many celebrities would appear in instructional videos at the time. It was an odd little category that caught my curiosity when I strolled through the video store many times. I did find it a little funny when Ebert tries to assert how much use these two dudes could get from a CoverGirl video.
You know, I've never been a fashion model and I've never smoked, but I must say the cooking tape really did interest me for some reason. Now,
Weren't you surprised at Christy Brinkley, how good she was on camera?
I was. As a matter of fact, she was very pleasant, and she told little anecdotes about, you know, getting frozen when she was shooting up in Alaska and so forth. And, yeah, that was pleasant. But I still not going to reach out to the makeup department of my local department store. And I advise you not to either because tongues will wag.
Give it as a gift.
Okay, thank you.
The next segment features Siskel and Ebert recommending recent movie releases on home video. Ebert recommends Woody Allen's Radio Days, and I actually really like how he tries to describe the film's brilliance for the imagination that helped paint the picture of radio's appeal for the era.
You do not have to remember the golden age of radio to enjoy Radio Days. All you have to remember is the way your childhood heroes were kind of surrounded by magic in your imagination, and when you found out the Lone Ranger wasn't real, or when Gene found out that Winky Dink wasn't real, that was not the best part of growing up. But it was an important part, and Radio Days is a very funny film.
But I did find out that Jack Barry was real because he hosted another one of my favorite old shows that I'd love to get on tape, 21, that quiz show. I don't care if it was fixed, it was fun.
Gene Siskel then recommends The Godfather, which was sold for $30, which was a massive deal at the time. For reference, if you adjust for inflation, that's about $85. That's still steep, but hey, we're talking about The Godfather here. Roger Ebert then recommends Christmas Story, which I doubt I have to explain at this point. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you should. It's a wonderfully frank and hilarious coming-of-age Christmas comedy. And if you have seen it, you've probably seen it too many times for the many marathons that it has had on television. But you have to keep in mind, A Christmas Story wasn't that ubiquitous back in 1987, so Ebert, of course, sings the praises of this cute and honest Christmas movie. Gene Siskel then chimes in with his recommendation of Roxanne, a charming, modern adaptation of Cyrano de Bergerac starring Steve Martin. And it's a good recommendation, considering how this Steve Martin film still holds up fairly well. The next portion of the special centers on VCRs, and there were some weirdly innovative products for this era. For example, Gene Siskel reviews a VCR that can record based on scanning barcodes.
And one of the most intriguing pieces of hardware that I have found now available is a VCR, a video cassette recorder, with a built-in barcoding mechanism. Barcoding is the device at supermarkets that electronically reads those little lines on products and tells the cash register the price, you hope. In this case, you use a separate wand, I've got one here, to touch a card that has pre-printed codes for all the days of the months, hours and minutes, and all the possible channels. And then you transmit that information to the VCR itself. I will now demonstrate. For example, I will turn it on. And here, Here's my favorite program. It's on Saturday, and it starts at 10:30, and it ends at 11 o'clock. It signals me when I've made my connection, and it's on Channel 2.
In Chicago, why, that would be our show.
You got it, big boy.
Very clever.
And now I turn it around, I point this at the VCR, and up comes, see there, look, Saturday, 10:30 start, 11 p.m. finish, Channel 2, our show. Every week it reminds me to watch it.
And yeah, that is a pretty handy feature for this time period. Though, I do find it funny how Ebert still gives Siskel shit for how bad he is with technology.
This is fabulous because you're so clever with electronic gadgets that if they had a VCR with one button, you would want the button to have a tiny voice that said, push me, push me.
As I was just going to say, this is a lot easier to operate than most VCRs on the market today. It's designed to help mechanical clods like me who have never, ever been able to pre-record on their VCR.
Now, one thing I thought about while I was watching this was, why didn't TV guides of the era try to incorporate this feature? But as Gene Siskel reveals, it turns out a Japanese TV magazine had already done just that.
The next step in this technology is to incorporate all of these items, these dates and channels, into one single barcode. And here we have something kind of special. A Japanese magazine like TV Guide, see that little logo? And they have barcodes, in a few cases, for special shows. All you'd have to do is just go wipe it like this across, and you would instantaneously barcode. Right here we got a little Paul Newman movie. And maybe this will come to America someday.
But then Roger Ebert actually cites a good reason why we wouldn't have TV guides with scannable barcodes for recording every show.
The only problem is TV Guide would be the size of a phone book.
Which is kinda true. I remember peering through cable TV guides of the 1990s and 2000s to find anime and sifting through what felt like an endless series of time slots with very thin rows and columns. So to have a barcode for every single broadcast on every single channel is just too daunting to imagine. Okay, so now Roger Ebert moves on to talking about video formats. So he starts with Super VHS, or SVHS, which was likely an easier sell given the proliferation of VHS at the time.
Now let's get down to the bottom line, the video picture itself. Right now the home video market is dominated by the common VHS video format, but there are two kinds of home video systems in the stores this Christmas season that produce much better pictures and much better sound than anything you may have seen in home video before. They are Super VHS. We have a brand new Super VHS machine right here. Super VHS still uses special cassette tapes. And here's a Super VHS demonstration tape. Of course, it's only going to look as good as your set will allow.
Siskel and Ebert both seem to appreciate the quality of SVHS. They are astute enough to point out how the images shown in the video will reflect differently on broadcast. But I do love how they try to describe the extra details that were showcased in the video for those who couldn't see an in-person demonstration.
Gene, you and I saw a demonstration of this. What do you think?
Roger, I was amazed at the quality. There wasn't a lot of bleeding. It was lifelike. I would want this. If I could afford it, I think it's about $1,200 list price. Right. I would buy it. This is really high quality.
I was impressed too. It's a terrific picture. Yeah. There were details like the bark on a tree, the details in a flower I'd never seen on a video picture before. It's great.
Ebert is also smart enough to point out the limitations of this new technology. Namely, you've got to have a TV that can properly support Super VHS, and also that, well, there weren't really any big-name movies out on Super VHS at the time.
But there are a couple of problems with Super VHS. One of them is you've got to have a monitor or TV set capable of receiving a Super VHS picture. That can cost you money if your old TV set won't do it. The other problem, there are no movies now available in Super VHS format. But there will be, and in the meantime, a Super VHS machine will play your old ordinary VHS movie. So if you're buying a new VCR, get Super VHS, then your machine won't be obsolete.
But of course, if you wanted to watch high-quality movies at home in the late 1980s, there was really only one format you could go with.
But there's another choice in the stores right now, and this one is all set up and ready to go. It's LaserVision. Now, LaserVision doesn't play from cassettes. It plays from discs, and it's based on the same technology as the ordinary little compact disc that people have, so that the sound is a whole lot better on LaserVision than on any tape I've heard, including Super VHS. You put it in like this. You push it in the other way. Of course, I can't make
No,
anything
just push it
work.
this way,
There you
big
go.
guy.
You don't push it physically, Gene. You're supposed to push the button, and then you push it like this.
One thing you'll come to learn from these specials is that Gene Siskel is terrible with technology. Not only does he improperly insert the LaserDisc into the machine by pushing the tray, but later in these specials, he'll forget to put a tape inside a VCR that he's trying to play. I'm not even kidding. Keep watching. I'll show you that clip later.
The advantages of laser vision are picture that's almost as good as Super VHS, sound that's better or at least equivalent, and thousands of movies and concerts and operas already available on disc. So it's a lot cheaper, too.
When I listened to this LaserVision, the thing that impressed me was the sound. The sound is spectacular, so I recommend it.
So there are two alternatives to ordinary VHS.
Both are
of them
great.
superior.
Sure, both were good, except one format ultimately had fewer titles. Ultimately, SVHS tapes would not have as much of a spread as LaserDisc, and even SVHS would later be dominated by the superior WVHS. But hey, at least SVHS decks could still play regular VHS just fine, so it's not a total loss if you bought one.
Later on, we'll review classic videos now on sale from TV's golden age. But coming up next, the moment we've been dreading, Gene and I are going to show you the first films that we've ever directed.
Okay, well, why don't you point it at me? Here, get it up
Oh,
here.
I am pointing it at
This
you,
way,
Roger.
up this way.
Oh, just don't try and do directing. You see, that's the amazing thing.
Okay, so now we're getting to the real meat of these specials. This is where Siskel and Ebert's rivalry starts taking on different forms. They try out the PXL camera by making their own short films. And their films are... they're bad. Roger Ebert's movie is more of a fan film called Citizen Yuppie, in which he plays clips from Citizen Kane, with the only original footage being a close-up of a license plate that reads Rosebud. It's a simplistic joke that the item of Kane's affection wasn't a childhood sled, but an expensive car. Siskel doesn't give it a thumbs up, and even appears to smack Ebert's hand when criticizing his film.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to know my reaction?
Yeah, I do want to know your
I
reaction.
think you played too long on Citizen Kane because I was wondering when you were going to switch to the yuppie part. You waited too long. And then on the yuppie part, that's the license plate of your car with Rosebud. I happen to know that because I know it's your car. I would have pulled back farther so I could have seen that it was a BMW car. That's the way I would have
No, but
improved
absolutely
your tape.
no, because first of all, you have to see that it's Rosebud.
I know that you had to be
You
tight.
have to see the word
Pull back.
Rosebud,
Yeah.
and then you have to pan up to show the insignia, because
I know
that's
that.
the punchline.
And then I wanted you to be back, go back and show that it was a
Well,
car.
but I couldn't because it was parked at the curb, and there was another car right behind me.
Yeah,
I couldn't get back any
I know,
further.
but my other criticism is you were too long on Rosebud. The idea is cute.
Too long?
Too long on the original
On
Citizen
Kane?
Too long.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. No.
And now it's time for Gene Siskel's film, which thankfully doesn't lift footage from another movie. And it is a film that is all about dissing Roger Ebert using the same technology that was used on the cartoon Clutch Cargo.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, there's something I've not been telling you over the years, and that is the debt of gratitude I owe to my colleague, Gene Siskel. For many years, in between our weekly tapings of the show, Gene has been coaching me on what to say, every single word that I say. A lesser man would make me look stupid every week. On occasion, Gene gives me something intelligent to say. Gene, my friend, before this taping is over, in case anything should happen to me, I want you and the audience to know that I owe you a tremendous debt of gratitude. I can never repay. However, I will start paying in increments of $1,000 a week beginning tomorrow. Thank you.
So Ebert seems to find the film funny, but he does have some notes.
Well, you're laughing. You must have liked it.
Very clever, Gene. Very clever. And you know, the thing I like the best is your decision not to put your face on camera, because that way it was fun to look at as well as to listen to.
Yeah. You know, the lesson...
Actually, the joke went on a bit too long.
No, the lesson that I
and
learned...
everything that you said was so obvious.
Except that you were laughing the whole time.
Mine showed so much more imagination.
No, you were laughing the whole time. Here's
Well,
the
I
key.
was laughing,
You know what
but
the key...
I laughed more than you do
Okay, but
anyway,
here's the key.
because I'm a happier person.
Here's
than
the
you.
key.
Okay, so they're not exactly competent directors. To be fair, they're working with a camera that's more of a toy than something suitable for feature film production, which leads into their review of the PXL camera itself. For reference, the camera and real-time monitor that come with it sold for $225, which, adjusted for inflation inflation is roughly $630. And that's a lot of money for a camera that records on small tape cassettes with low quality. So you can probably guess how they're going to rate this device.
I would not buy it. I would not buy it only because, I mean, that's a lot of money. You can get a used camera, which these kids are so adept at operating, for not that much more money.
Yeah, of course, the tapes are a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
It's clever, though. It is clever.
Hey, listen, if you got a lot of money, go for it.
It's fairly simple, and I think that any kid bright enough to want a camera like this would very quickly outgrow it, and he'd want the real thing. So I think you're probably right.
Okay, so if you've been peering in the background this whole time, you might have noticed the Nintendo Entertainment System. And yes, that is what they end up reviewing next.
Let's move on to another one of the hot items that they're going to be selling in the Christmas store, in the stores this Christmas. This is the Nintendo Entertainment System, and this is about $189, not much cheaper. Toys, remember when toys were $1 or $2?
Yes,
Amazing. You got
we got them, too.
A Slinky, you know, or a gyroscope or something.
In case you're wondering, the price, adjusted for inflation, is roughly $536. Keep in mind, though, this is the deluxe set with Rob the Robot, which thankfully Siskel and Ebert don't use. They instead use the Zapper to play Duck Hunt.
Okay, you got
Here I go.
three
Okay.
shots to hit 2 ducks coming up.
3 shots to hit 2 ducks. There's my dog. He's looking for the ducks.
Here they come.
Okay,
Get
here they
ready.
come. I got one.
No,
I
you didn't get
one.
any.
I didn't. I
You didn't get any. 0,
Okay,
big
wait a minute.
boy.
Oh, there he is. He's laughing.
Here
at
come
me.
2 more
Here we
ducks.
go.
You did not get any.
I got one.
Okay, so Siskel has had enough of Ebert sucking at the game and takes over. And Siskel actually kicks ass at Duck Hunt.
Okay. Now, we do not endorse
duck.
killing ducks, even visual ducks.
No, we don't. No. Okay, you got one.
I got 2.
Okay.
Thank you.
2 ducks. Big deal. Okay. Okay.
Got 'em
now-
all.
Okay, now I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
Right now
Yeah.
on the show, because
Yeah.
we rehearsed this just a second ago.
Yeah.
You've never missed a duck yet.
Yeah.
Now, you told me there was a secret to the game.
There is a secret to the
What
game.
is the
I figured
secret
it out.
to the game?
Look,
I haven't been able.
All right, I went
Okay.
to military school. I know how to shoot. And here's what you do. You aim a little bit below where you think you should aim. Aim a little bit below and look through the crosshairs. These are crosshairs.
Yeah,
So then you can never miss, okay?
We then get a review of the Nintendo system and also a bit of history on video games, lest the audience forget the tragic crash of 1983.
So what do you think
I'm going to
about
make
this?
a great soldier, but you know...
For $189, what do you think?
Well,
The
I don't know how
Nintendo-
many games you get
Well,
with
you
this
get
thing.
2 games, comes in the box. You can buy some other games and plug them in.
I'll only tell you this. The shooting of the duck hunt was fun to do. This is probably one of the games that we enjoyed playing the most.
One of the funny things is these video games are back in the market again. It was about 6 or 7 years ago the video games were hot. Then they kind of dropped out of sight, and now it's kind of like Snow White. You can bring it back every 7 years. There's a new market for it. This is basically what that is.
Okay.
Oh, but Nintendo wasn't the only gaming console in the new age of video games. There was another, and it had a peripheral, though it's probably not as fondly remembered.
Now we have another toy that we want to review, the Sega Master System. And this is a major competitor of the Nintendo Entertainment System. Both of them work in basically the same way. You get a console like this that you plug into the television set. You get little game cartridges that you stick in. And then in this case, you can also get 3D glasses. Gene, you tried this out.
Yeah, 3D games are the biggest thing that they're selling this year. And of the 3D video games on the market, the best that I could find, and the best that I played with, was the one played with the Sega Master System.
Yes, before Sega had Sonic, they had 3D, which oddly enough was a big-ticket item during this time. Nintendo even had its own 3D accessory with the Famicom 3D system, but that was Japan only, so for the American market, we got Sega's 3D glasses.
I'm going to play 3D and show you as best I can, because you really can't see the 3D, but you watch me play this game. Here are the glasses. These are heavy-duty glasses.
Okay,
You don't
Jim
get...
McMahon there, Jim McMahon.
You do not get these in movie theaters.
Ironically, those are roughly the exact size of the 3D glasses that we have in movie theaters nowadays. Not only does Gene take to wearing the glasses, but he once more uses a gun when trying out the 3D game Missile Defense.
Okay, let's start the game, and let's play. Okay, here they go.
Saving humanity.
Oh, there you can see I'm blasting a little bit.
Yeah, now at home, this doesn't look like 3D, but believe it, I guess, that through Gene's glasses, it looks
Yeah,
like
it does. I'm actually getting a kick out of this. And it's tougher than Duck Hunt. And this is a real 3D effect. Okay, now I'm just punching out.
Gene then delivers his verdict, but Roger also voices a great benefit of the bulky 3D glasses.
This is not bad. I mean, if you want to play 3D, again, I think the whole thing is, this stuff is very heavily priced. If you can afford it, what we're telling you is the best to buy. And I'm saying, of the 3D, Sega Master
I'll tell you
System.
one problem I've always had. Now, I think a lot of kids wear glasses
Right.
just like I did. Hold those.
Okay.
These are the glasses that you usually get with 3D games. Now, what do you do with them? Do you put them on over your ears and then stick your glasses on top of them, or what? You can never, it's just like 3D movies. I can't see anything.
Right.
These glasses do fit on over my other glasses, and I was able to play the game.
And I'll admit, I appreciate the size of the IMAX 3D glasses that we have nowadays. It'd take many decades before 3D films finally had glasses large enough that would fit over my own, so that was a huge benefit. Because I still recall those days when the glasses were so thin that it was a challenge to see 3D movies. So I don't miss the trend of nearly every big movie being 3D due to the size of the glasses that we had back then.
And now we're back in the video department of the Siskel and Ebert Holiday Gift Guide Mall. And Roger, there may be a blue light special. Hang around. You could pick up a bargain, big boy.
In this segment, Siskel and Ebert recommend videos for kids, but not the videos you might expect. Siskel starts with music videos for kids, recommending a Disney song compilation tape and a tape called Baby Songs.
And one of the best sellers is called Baby Songs. And one of the best songs on the tape is called Piggy Toes.
Jiggle your piggy toes, wiggle your piggy toes, giggle and wiggle and jiggle your toes.
Gene Siskel was a parent, in case it wasn't obvious. He does, however, speak with more passion for the Disney songs than he does for Piggy Toes.
You get about 10 songs on each of these tapes. Another favorite of mine on one of the other tapes is called Baby Mine from Dumbo. It's certain to cause some hugging and nuzzling in the home.
Ah, that's adorable. But lest you think that Siskel isn't a mindful parent, he does speak more openly about how tapes are not a replacement for other avenues of childhood development.
Obviously, I think one thing we should point out, we're talking about video. I'm not suggesting that video replace reading, and books should be a very important part of a kid's life, but these videos are a wonderful development. I wish I had them when I was growing up.
You know, I do too. You might have grown up to be a little more serene.
So after that mild jab, Roger Ebert gives his own kid video recommendations. His choices are Lady and the Tramp, a collection of classic Fleischer cartoons, and a series of videos adapting children's stories with classic narration. And that series in particular triggered some lost memories.
Here in The Elephant's Child, Jack Nicholson reads Rudyard Kipling's story of how the elephant got its nose.
And the elephant's child's nose kept on stretching, and the elephant's child spread all his little 4 legs and pulled and pulled and pulled.
And I really like that approach. There's a whole series of these here read by people like Jeremy Irons, Cher, and Meryl Streep, who did 2 or 3 of them. And it's like being read to out of a picture book. The drawings are good,
Yes, they are
and the
very
voices are good.
Well, particularly that Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
voice. I mean, you can hear him smiling, and you can almost just visualize him having fun recording into the microphone. I really enjoyed that very, very much.
So I recall some of these titles, but this type of tape was very prevalent during the late 80s and early 90s. My favorites were the Muppet Babies video storybooks. They were essentially the same concept with illustrations and Jim Henson narrating the stories, but also featured Muppet framing devices with Kermit and Robin. I watched those videos so much as a kid, and they were just super chill. I loved watching those videos. And now, on the other end of the spectrum, Siskel and Ebert take a look at kids' videos that they would not recommend. This appears very beneficial given the era of aggressive toy marketing towards kids.
I was truly bored by the cheesy video and story quality of the Teddy Ruxpin tape I watched. He's a little bear and also a crushing little boar. Here's a sample from Teddy Ruxpin in Escape from the Treacherous Mountains.
We really found the treasure of Kondo.
You found it, Teddy.
Okay, so a little context might be needed here. A Teddy Ruxpin was a popular toy, notable for speaking with a built-in tape recorder. Special tapes could be played so that Teddy could tell a story and express with his eyes and mouth. I never had this toy, but I did have the more interactive version with the Robot 2XL. He'd not only tell stories, but you could also answer questions with the array of buttons that he had. As for Teddy, I never cared much for the cartoon. I recall seeing 1 or 2 episodes, and they were just dull.
And now the absurd Barbie and the Rockers, Barbie's first video, and Mattel really blew it with this one. Barbie doesn't look like Barbie, Ken doesn't look like Ken, and the idea of Barbie delivering a world peace rock concert from outer space is absolutely ridiculous.
Please join in, everyone. Sing for peace everywhere.
Now, you might have noticed this animated Barbie movie looks similar to another 1980s cartoon about a singer, because Barbie and the Rockers was a response to the new toy cartoon franchise of Gem. I wasn't a huge fan of Gem, but the cartoon was far better than the Barbie and the Rockers tape. Plus, Gem had the Misfits, and their songs are better. As a change of pace, Siskel recommends a video profile on Facts of Life star Mackenzie Aston. Again, Siskel is mindful enough to recommend that this format could be used for more than entertainment. Video profiles could be used to highlight the personalities of scientists and doctors. Ebert agrees with this, but of course, the problem there is star power. The tape being recommended here is called Up Close with Mackenzie Aston. Teens know that name. They're less likely to pick up a video called Up Close with Barbara McClintock. I mean, it's a good idea, but I think they might have to workshop this a bit. Ebert then recommends a how-to guide for Little League Baseball. I liked how Ebert was skeptical of the video at first, but then warmed up to the tape's lessons. Ebert seemed to enjoy it most for the nostalgia he had for reading how-to sports books back in the day. However, he didn't seem to care much for the equipment that came bundled with the video.
And I'm still trying to figure out, this is called the Quick Fit Ultra Toner.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't have, maybe that's why I was no good in Little League. I didn't have my Ultra Toner. Still, it's a clever tape.
You've made it through 44 years or 45 years without your Ultra Toner. Take a pass on it. But the tape is actually kind of good. I learned about bunting, a little bit about sliding. They don't teach you how to hook slide, but a straight-ahead slide. You know what they teach you? They teach you to slide on grass.
You know
first.
what I always wanted to know in Little League was how to use the glove in order to keep the ball from hitting me in the head.
Well, that's very valuable.
After a commercial break, we get some recommendations for video collector magazines that were absolutely fascinating to me. They would feature rare tapes that you couldn't get anywhere else. Before the age of YouTube, finding most shows from the old days of television required either looking through TV syndication or tracking them down on home video.
These are video and movie collectors magazines like Video Shopper, Movie Collectors World.
Big reel, classic images, they're great.
And these are magazines published by and for video and movie collectors, fans of old TV shows and movies who buy, sell, and trade their tapes and films from the golden age of television in Hollywood. What's amazing is that almost everything you've ever seen on TV is probably available on tape somewhere. For example, this is a catalog from Shokus Video, and look at this. I found this the other day. The Ed Sullivan Show, guests for February the 5th, 1956, Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, Orson Welles, reading from King Lear, and an interview with Rodgers and Hammerstein.
One example Ebert showcases is the rare videotaping of Groucho Marx's radio show to see how it would play on television. Even Ebert is amazed by this footage because it was never broadcast on television. Nowadays, it's not uncommon at all to find unaired pilots or unfinished test footage from a movie or TV production, but back in 1987, it must have been a rare treat to come home and find a delivered tape of Groucho Marx that hardly anybody had seen.
You may fire when ready.
You have to ask me.
Okay, what do you want me to say?
Go ahead, George.
Go ahead, George. That's some ad-lib, eh?
And I don't know where they get these tapes, because that was never even played on television. That was just for somebody's vault, and I guess somebody got the combination.
I am very glad that they saved that.
And speaking of old shows, Gene Siskel recommends his favorite old game show, that being the $64,000 Question. And I just love the way that Siskel comments on how the music has aged, which, as it turns out, was shockingly tense.
You have 30 seconds to think over your answer. Good luck, Bobby.
What a show. That booth, that music, that's almost like music from Psycho now. You know, we used to think of ding, ding, ding. It's heavy-duty music. It's much more threatening than I remember it.
And now comes the final segment of the show, where Siskel and Ebert highlight the absolute worst video gifts. And for 1987, they found some doozies.
Now comes the fun part. It's time for our selection of the worst video gifts available in this country this season. Now, Gene and I have both watched dozens of tapes. We have played with lots of video games. We have tinkered with innumerable gadgets, and we have found the bottom of the video gift barrel.
Okay, so Roger Ebert's choice for the worst gift is a television remote that allows you to point from any direction and it will still change the channel. Utterly useless. it sucks.
And then you tape it to the back of any remote control zapper on your TV set. It'll work with anyone. And then, you know what?
What?
You no longer have to point the zapper at the set to make it work.
You can point
No, sir. You can point it anywhere. I can point it up. I can point it down. I can point it behind me. And no matter where I point, the zapper works.
But the highlight here is Gene Siskel's choice. His worst video gift award goes to the customizable video Lady Lovelylocks. It's essentially an animated adventure where you can submit your child's name and photo, and both will be included on the 25-minute tape. So Gene Siskel tried it out by sending in his name and photograph, and the results are... they're hilarious.
I wish I could remember where Maiden's fair hair and curly crown said to meet. I know where they are, Lady Lovelylocks. My goodness. Hi, Gene. Hi, Lady Lovelylocks. I saw them in a meadow as I floated by in my balloon. Why, thank you. I'm meeting them there for a picnic. Would you like to join us? Thank you, lady, but I have to get home for dinner.
That's great. I'm too busy to enter the adventure. I've got to go home. That's why I got the tape, so I could go home, right? I couldn't interact with Lady Lovelylocks. Of course, they do it that way so they don't have to insert my picture throughout the story. That is a ripoff. Do not get Lady Lovelylocks.
I won't, Gene.
When I watched this footage, I laughed for a straight minute at how much Roger Ebert was laughing and how pissed off Gene Siskel was about not being able to do more with Lady Lovelylocks. It's just a fantastic way to end the 1987 holiday gift guide. Okay, on to the 1988 holiday gift guide, with a much different set and a new assortment of gadgets and toys.
It's back. Siskel and Ebert's Holiday Video Gift Guide, with Gene and Roger showing you the newest in electronics, toys and games, plus the latest home videos, and lots of movie gift ideas for the holiday season.
The first gift they try out is a model train set with a camera that records video. The video is only black and white, but compared to the Pixel Vision camera from the last special, the quality is surprisingly good.
It is probably the wildest gift offered this year, combining the old and new of toys, model trains, and video cameras. Here from Lionel is its rail-scope video camera system, an engine with a camera mounted on the front that sends a live picture of what it sees in black and white on its trip. Roger, you're the engineer now. Here goes the train. The camera is mounted right on the front. When it comes around here, Roger, I want you to stop it. There's a little horn. Stop the train, please. Stop.
How's that?
I like ordering you around. Okay? Here. Right here is the camera.
The most amusing thing about this segment is that Siskel and Ebert both managed to screw up getting the train working again.
And this is the train, and actually it's quite easy to put back, because I'm a mechanical clod, and I'm going to do this
Watch
live.
out for the third rail, Gene. Wouldn't want to lose you.
Let it rip, big guy.
I can't, because you don't have it on the third rail. It won't move.
Come on.
Okay. You still don't have it right.
Come on,
You
sweetheart.
got to put the wheels on the rail.
Go, baby.
It still doesn't go.
I can
Now
move it by
push it
hand.
along,
I can
push
move it
it
by
along.
hand. Chug it,
It's an
chug it.
electric train. Here, look.
I don't think you turned it on right.
I've got it on. You go see if I don't have it on. Here, look. See? Yeah, I hope I don't get an electrical shock.
Yeah, take your time. We only have an hour special here.
Okay, now it should work. Let's see.
If it works, I'm going to die. Thank you very much. The defense rests. Lionel rail scope system, $250 to $350 for these engines, and you also need a human being who's able to operate them. Roger and I are obviously not capable.
Now, they do point out the obvious flaw of what would happen if you got this toy for your kids. And you probably know what that issue is.
You know what would happen if you give this to a kid, of course. Because what happens
I know what they're
the
gonna...
signal goes through the TV set.
Yes.
And you can make a VCR recording of what the engineer sees.
Yes.
The first thing any kid is going to do is stage a big crash where the train goes right off the table and all the way through the living room.
They'll put their little brother or sister right up here on the
That's
tray.
right.
And all the rail
$500 of rail equipment up in flames so they can play the video over and over again.
And then while speculating about toys and cameras, Ebert stumbles onto the invention of drones.
You know what I'd like to see them do with this technology?
What?
Put it in a model airplane. Wouldn't that be terrific?
Well,
the bird's eye view?
Yeah, the only question is I think there it could go so fast that you wouldn't be able to have the camera focus. It would require a very sophisticated camera, and if you don't think that baby would crash and burn, then I don't think you understand.
A heck of a videotape.
The next toy that Ebert can't use correctly is the Wheel of Fortune TV play-along device. The device is supposed to scan a television broadcast of Wheel of Fortune so the puzzle can be loaded onto your device and you can guess the answer. But the toy doesn't work for Roger, and all Gene can do is laugh at how pointless this piece of junk is.
What you do is, you start out, now there they are, they're playing.
Oh, there's Vanna.
Okay, now I push on. That's very important.
Right,
and then I push enter. See, it says aim at TV.
Yeah.
And now it loads, there's a signal on the TV, believe it or not, that comes over the TV from Wheel of Fortune. They put this signal on underneath Vanna, you know, as kind of the secret signal.
Yeah, I bet.
It loads into this machine.
Yeah.
And now, you see, okay, so I put T.
Yeah.
And now on my...
Don't you get a chance?
Yeah, I get a chance, but you see...
You got to wait your turn while the other people are playing.
Oh, first I forgot to spin or something. Okay,
I'll say.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's been one of your problems your entire life.
Enter. Okay, players, number 1. Okay, aim at TV.
Right.
And now it's got 2 T's up there.
We saw that.
Yes. And it's supposed to have 2 TVs right here, too.
Can you do anything right?
Wait a minute. And then...
You can't play the game.
I'm going to turn it off.
I'm going to solve the puzzle.
Turning it on again. I'm entering it. Oh, I can tell you what it is. It's a regular heartbeat, obviously.
You've already seen this one. You saw this. You screened the show.
There he is. Well, that's it. Anybody can see that. Look at it. It says a regular heartbeat. Come on.
You screened.
Wait a minute. See, look. There's the T's.
This Wheel of Fortune toy that supposedly scans your TV costs $80. I'm not even going to adjust for inflation. That's just not worth it. Although Ebert doesn't recommend this product, he does try to reassure the audience that, no, it really did work. It's not working now, but I got it to work once.
I must say, in all fairness to this game, that in fact it does work. I have seen it work. I cannot make it work. The train won't move, but nevertheless, I know that in theory it works.
So on these 2 products so far that we're talking about, the train for train engineers, but you don't need this if you like to play along.
TV for free, right.
Okay.
Next up is some recommendations of movies for the toughest people to shop for. First up is the film buff, and Ebert is pretty spot on by recommending a Criterion Laserdisc of Orson Welles' The Magnificent Ambersons. Ebert goes over all the cool extras on the Laserdisc, and it's pretty neat to see him cover this.
And frankly, it's impossible to think of anything else they could have included in this package, except maybe one of Orson Welles' old Havana cigars.
Gene Siskel then recommends a film for the person who doesn't like movies. That's a tough order, but he recommends Singin' in the Rain. And I gotta agree. I mean, the music is excellent, there's some great laughs, and there's undeniably dazzling dance sequences that are just bathed in eye-popping color. Like, that movie's magnificent.
That Good Morning number, irresistible. Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor, and Debbie Reynolds. Who could resist that? And it's a film that's available both on tape and disc that can be played over and over, as with most musicals. It's like playing a favorite record again and again. People wonder about buying these tapes, and if it's a musical, you will play it more often, I think.
You know, on those mornings during the year when I have a real hard time getting started, sometimes I just put on Good Morning, you know, as I'm dancing around in my shower. It doesn't really work, but it's a nice idea.
Well, you have to look out of the shower to see the screen.
Problem, yes. I'm just listening.
The next category of challenging gift recipients is an oddly dated recommendation. Ebert chooses a film for those who don't like reading subtitles in foreign movies. Not because of the subtitles themselves, but because of the readability of subtitles. The solution to this problem, Ebert argues, is the letterboxed format. A widescreen film letterboxed on 4:3 televisions will leave plenty of space on the top and the bottom, and particularly the bottom, for subtitles. So Ebert showcases how easy it is to read subtitles of Fellini's Satyricon with black bars at the bottom of the screen. Alternatively, films could just get better subtitles. The biggest problem with black and white foreign films was that they often used white subtitles with no outline. And just make the subtitles readable with the right font, size, color, and outline so that people actually know what's going on. Because the problem is not that there wasn't a black background for the subtitles. The problem was the subtitles. But sure, this is an okay consolation, I guess. I mean, at least the subtitles are readable. Gene Siskel then tackles a gift idea for the person who doesn't go to the movies or hasn't been to the theater in many years. His recommendation is Tootsie, which, yeah, for the time it was one of the biggest comedies, and it still actually holds up rather well over time. Roger Ebert then covers a gift idea for the person who hates sex and violence. His choice is the Preston Sturges film, The Lady Eve, a slapstick romance amid a con starring Henry Fonda and Barbara Stanwyck. It's a great film with some fun dialogue, and it still has some sexual tension, believe it or not.
And that movie ends with one of the greatest final lines. In the 30s and 40s, they love to have the last line. That is a great last line.
It's a wonderful picture. Also, it has a great kiss in it, so for the person who doesn't like sex or violence, they actually get a little sex, but the sanitized sex that's so nice.
On the opposite side of the coin is Gene Siskel's recommendation for somebody who loves sex and violence. And his choice is a film that has both, but weaves them together in a very dark, dramatic story. The film is Don't Look Now, which centers around a couple trying to track down the ghost of their dead daughter. And it is frightening at times and incredibly mysterious, but also highly erotic. And Gene points out something notable about such a film coming out in the 1970s.
It's from 1973, the same year, oddly enough, as Last Tango in Paris, another film that would qualify for this category, but a more obvious choice. Movies have gotten sexually tame in the last 15 years, haven't they? That's what I learned searching out a tape for this category.
They're certainly tame now compared to the 70s.
Oh, and it's only gotten way more tame since then. Like, we still have erotic thrillers that pop up every now and then, but nowhere near as frequently. We then get a field trip with Gene Siskel to a television museum to talk about old shows now available on home video. He starts off by recommending a nostalgic favorite of his, Mama. The show is a sitcom that pushed the envelope for 1949 television by mentioning a dirty word, as you'll see in this clip.
Well, I'm not the same kind of widow that Mrs. Jean-Trude is.
But that generally means that maybe Mrs. Marsh and her husband are divorced.
Oh.
And so we learn about the word divorce, taboo, in 1949.
He then recommends something much less risque, a Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood before there was a Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Another vintage video is Ding Dong School from 1952, a TV program for kids hosted by a much-beloved teacher named Dr. Frances Horwich. Her approach, if you watch it closely, is very similar to another popular educator of children today, Mr. Fred Rogers.
You've been having a very good time together? Oh, I am. I'm so glad. Yeah!
A key difference I've noticed between Ding Dong School and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was that Frances Horowitz was more reactive. She wouldn't just ask you questions like Fred Rogers, but give responses. She would predict the questions or reactions that kids would have while she was painting pictures, reading storybooks, or making a sandwich. So Frances is kind of like a fusion of Fred Rogers and Dora the Explorer, although that description might not do her justice. At any rate, she was excited to hear what the young audience had to say, and for some kids, that's all they wanted from a TV friend. Gene's final recommendation for a classic TV show is the adventure series Ramar of the Jungle, which, at least to Gene Siskel here, was considered vintage childhood nightmare fuel.
I used to watch this from a distance of about 20 feet, peeking around a wall to look at the screen when those crocodiles came on. There was another episode involving pythons, and I thought that they would be coming out of trees at me as I walked home from school. So I guess when you revisit your childhood, you revisit the fuzzy, warm moments, and you also revisit the fears, the exciting fears.
Roger Ebert then recommends some documentaries from Les Blanc involving music and dance. And then he recommends the home video Voyager Gallery, a presentation of thousands of photographs from space to compose a flight through the solar system. And I absolutely love how enthusiastic he is about technology when talking about this LaserDisc.
One side of this disc has thousands and thousands of still photographs. The other side is movies from outer space with a musical soundtrack. A great music video, if you will. Those are not special effects. It's not animation. Those are actual photographs of the rings of Saturn. And a movie, if you stop to think about it, is simply 24 frames a second. So all they did here was take thousands of individual still frames that were sent back by Voyager, and they made a movie of a flight through the solar system.
Next, Gene recommends a video on Kalanetics and a cooking video with Martha Stewart. And I found it amusing how smug Siskel gets when talking about this tape and how Ebert tries to counter him.
Martha Stewart likes to marinate a lot of things, and that takes up time. Up to 3 days to marinate art. You didn't know this. 3 days to marinate artichokes?
Everybody knows that, Gene.
No,
You're probably the only person who didn't know that.
You didn't know that. You're lying, I can tell. You also need a grill for a lot of her cooking.
I knew
She's
that.
not particularly charismatic on screen, but I suspect the food that you can produce with this tape is very good if, as she constantly reminds you, you buy it fresh. A recipe book is included. This is a valuable tape. I shouldn't make too much fun of it.
You're going to marinate an artichoke for 3 days, it better be fresh before you start. I agree with you.
Okay.
Hey, it's field trip time again, and this time it's Roger Ebert's turn. His destination for an outing from the TV set balcony is to his home. So he wants to show off a good home video setup and figured he'd just show off his own.
So come on in and make yourself at home, and I'm going to show you a great home video system. And it's not in here because this is the living room, and I'm hardly ever in the living room. I spend about half of my life down in the basement looking at videos. So come right this way, and what you do is turn left at the vacuum cleaner. And look out for the last step.
There's something rather charming about how willing Ebert was to let the camera film his cluttered basement entrance. He could have started in the basement, but he just had to show off his living room and collection of bags. The basement itself looks great, though. He has giant couches, a big screen TV, and a LaserDisc system. And the way that Ebert speaks about how obsessed he became with the frame-by-frame function is so comically self-aware of how alienating this appears.
And you run it forward, and you run it back, and you freeze a frame, and you freeze another frame, and your friends get up, and they go home, and they go out for sandwiches, and they never come back to your house again, and you're still there backing it up and putting it forward and playing with the special effects, because you can have a lot of fun doing that with these movies.
I'm still debating if this is based on a true story. Ebert has been known for holding frame-by-frame presentations of movies at universities, so I could totally see him inviting over some friends, and then they abandon him after he goes all JFK on the Raiders of the Lost Ark. So when talking about this tech, Siskel and Ebert bring up a competing format that sucked when compared to LaserDisc.
But people think this is an out-of-date mechanism. That's because of the RCA thing.
Yeah, RCA had a system they advertised all over television that played movies with a needle. It was crummy technology, It's obsolete, it doesn't exist.
The format they're talking about here is CED, which is exactly what Ebert described. It's a video disc that's read not through lasers, but with a stylus. LaserDisc was already on the market by the time CED debuted in 1981. Thus, by the mid-1980s, CED was pretty much doomed. Now, while I've never tried out a CED player, the idea of playing a movie like a vinyl record just sounds awful. I'll just take the word of Roger Ebert here, and maybe Leonard Nimoy.
The encoded information on this disc is read by a laser beam. That means that the picture and sound quality must be far superior to videotape reproduction.
There's another product test, and this time it's Siskel and Ebert trying out the visual telephone. These phones have a screen that can send black and white photos directly over the telephone line. It's pretty advanced for the late 1980s, even if the pictures look like crap and the audio signal cuts out when sending the photo. So Siskel and Ebert try it out with their typical banter over the phone, I imagine.
Yeah, who is it?
It's your favorite film critic, me. And,
that's not true.
That's not true.
Where are you?
I'm in front of my Visitel telephone, and
I'm in front of mine.
And if you're in front of yours,
I am.
Now, of course, when you send the picture, Gene, there's a 5-second delay in which you can't hear the other person. But what I'm going to do, you see, there's a little television camera in mine,
I know.
and I lean forward and I look in it till I get it just right, and then I push send.
And then,
oh look, you're wearing glasses.
Now you can't see me.
You're wearing glasses.
Okay, now you can see me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're wearing glasses.
Okay, but you couldn't hear me while the
on.
picture came along, right?
That's true. It blanked out there for a second.
Okay.
You're wearing glasses.
Yes, I am. Yes.
You haven't lost any weight.
Thank you.
You have a sweater on and a sport jacket.
Just as the last time you saw me.
To put things in perspective, the two of them do try to cover practical usage for these phones.
Now, I want to tell you, a friend of mine already has this machine, and he's using it in a legitimate way, I think. He sent his daughter off to school, freshman year, nervous, cross country, and he's able to stay in contact with her, if she's okay. The other obvious test that I think it would be great, someone sick in a hospital across the country, far away from you, this is a way to stay in communication, and that almost brings back the price. This is $400 a unit, $800 for a pair. They'll probably discount a little bit, but if you think about it, plane tickets back and forth, this machine is actually worth it. The picture phone comes alive. I think it's great.
Yeah, the phones are expensive, but at least they work, unlike the other products on the show. I am curious, though, about how costly the calls themselves are, and whether it takes longer to send these images from different areas. Come to think of it, how far apart are Siskel and Ebert for this test?
So I guess we agree on this one. So long, Gene.
Bye, Raj.
Oh, they were in the same room the entire time, so I guess they couldn't test the audio dropping out during photo sending because they could easily hear each other in the same room. We then get to the obligatory music video and kid video recommendations. Ebert's recommendations are Disney's Cinderella and another batch of Storybook videos, this time featuring a story read by Robin Williams.
I like the quietly humorous artwork here by Tim Raglan, and I especially like the spirit with which the story is told by Robin Williams.
He looked down at Bill from his horse and said, "Well, you're as naked as a jaybird, partner. Why in tarnation you're running around without clothes?"
Another tape Ebert recommends is an instructional Boy Scout video. Much like the baseball video, there was nostalgia for Ebert. Pay attention, though, to how Siskel insults Ebert when also talking about the tape.
And at first I was a little skeptical of it because some of the kids have glasses on and they're not very trendy, the scout uniforms aren't all that trendy. But at the end, when they gave out the badges, the real emblems for the first class thing, it was kind of moving, and I was a little tingle there because I was a first class scout, and these kids really do learn some things.
What's wrong with wearing glasses?
One of the best children's series is the Disney Sing-Along.
Siskel's recommendations include more Disney songs like last year, a Fisher-Price video about vehicles called Things That Go Vroom, and an Alyssa Milano workout tape. Odd choice with the last one, but even odder is Ebert's self-own of talking about how he'd make an exercise tape.
I've always thought I should do an exercise tape in which first I'm sitting in a chair, then lying on the couch, and then watching some TV.
That would explain a lot of things, yes.
Damn, Siskel just ripping into Ebert here, and all Ebert is doing is just feeding him. And then the special ends with Siskel and Ebert still screwing around with the train. They do manage to get the train working, but then something else goes wrong.
Put your face down. Get in the shot.
He had to do it.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it on purpose.
He had to.
I didn't. No, it was an accident.
He had to do it.
It was an accident. I didn't know it was going that fast.
47-year-old infant.
It is now 1989, and the holiday special is still being held in the Den, although it looks a little different. It's still a nice change of pace, though, from the usual set of a theater balcony.
Out of the balcony and into the luxuriously appointed all-American Den. Yes, it's the third annual edition of Siskel and Ebert's Holiday Video Gift Guide.
First up is the return of the Nintendo Entertainment System, appropriately expected as the top gift of that year. And why wouldn't it be? I mean, it was the year of Ninja Gaiden and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because Ebert will address this game later.
This year, Nintendo is reaching out to an adult market with new products for home finances, but Gene and I are still catching up with the basic Nintendo system.
It's then field trip time to the mall to check out the Nintendo gaming system. Siskel and Ebert both rattle off some consumer info in between trying to figure out the game Tecmo Bowl. They're both practicing for their ultimate showdown later in the segment.
Does number one have the ball? Yeah. Oh no, it's a pass play. Oh no. Oh no. No. How can I stop him?
Touchdown. Sir, this is going to be a touchdown. He had you covered.
I like to imagine Gene's glee in that moment stems from his belief that he can win this game. Siskel has been consistently terrible with technology, but he seems to grasp Technobowl while Ebert struggles. The rivalry between them is going into the realm of video games, and Siskel might have the advantage. The most interesting aspect of this segment is when they talk to the kids around them about how much time they spend playing Nintendo.
How much do you play a day?
Oh, I play about an hour, 2 hours a day. I play a long time.
After hearing the many hours spent on the games, Ebert confronts Michael Borg of Captron World of Nintendo. And in response to the parents who say they can't get their kids away from the TV, Michael says the equivalent of, "I don't fucking care, that's capitalism, baby!"
Now what about parents who say, I got a Nintendo system for my kid, and now I can't get him away from the television set?
Good, that's what we want to hear. Things like that, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good tool to keep the child occupied, and there's absolutely no harm in it.
And now it's time for the first and last Siskel and Ebert Tecmo Bowl Challenge. And it does not go well for Ebert. Watch the light leave his eyes as Siskel obliterates him on the pixelated gridiron.
Interception?
Love it.
You intercepted on the 10-yard line.
Yeah, now I got 4 downs to get 10 yards. 8-yard line.
Okay, excellent.
All right, fabulous. Touchdown!
That was a brutal loss. Let's go to the post-game show to hear Ebert's reaction to his defeat.
Now, I'm willing to concede that you beat me.
Oh, what do you mean concede? I beat you.
What I will not concede is that you knew what you were doing when you beat me.
I knew exactly what I was doing, and I kicked the extra point and made it 7-0.
Not at all. You were pushing.
What do you mean not at all?
Almost at random.
I kicked the extra point, 7-0. You lost.
You understand how to play that
exactly.
game.
And you know what? I understand. And I understand it so well, I'll never play again.
Okay, the post-game analysis is over. Now, let's switch gears and hear about Ebert's brief addiction to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I got one of these sets at home and I started playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with it. And after a while, after about a week of this, I would find that every time I had a spare moment or every time I came home, I was in front of the set playing with these mutant turtles, and it got to the point where it was making me quite unhappy because I was so obsessed with it, and I finally unplugged the machine and I said, that's it for Nintendo, because it seems to me that it's so hypnotic and so repetitive that it was just not good for my mental health.
Okay, to all the gamers watching, you might want to skip this part of the discussion.
Well, the other thing that I think is, once you know how to do it well, what have you got?
Well, actually, and I never did find out how to do it well either.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying? In other words, so you have a little bit of hand-eye coordination. I mean, that's it.
Big deal.
I mean, big deal. And it was a little frightening to hear the kids saying that they play 2 hours a night or 1 hour a night. That's a hell of a lot of time.
Oh, but don't you worry, kids. Siskel and Ebert weren't really done with video games. There's more of that coming down the pike. A less addictive product is the Canon Zapshot, which Siskel and Ebert try out at Chicago's Lincoln Zoo. And while the segment is informative, it's just cute for the animals they try to photograph.
You're looking at 9-month-old Bolera, a gorilla. The name is Swahili for a place in Africa. This is Pat Sass, the trainer. And this is like being right in the middle of 2001, the opening scene. This is spectacular.
There are some surprisingly funny shots they got of this baby gorilla, and I wish the video camera had captured exactly how they got them.
The gorilla is beautiful, but we should fill you in on the Canon Zapshot. Its list price is $700, and on each of its little discs, 50 still images can be held.
Okay, I must admit, it's pretty cute how Ebert tries to get the baby gorilla to use the camera.
At that range, the gorilla got interested in the camera.
Push down right there. Push down right there.
So easy to use, a 9-month-old gorilla.
Yeah.
And some of the gorillas behind the glass wanted in on the fun, too.
Good God, there comes King Kong.
They then film some elephants, but Ebert decides to take a picture of Siskel, to which Siskel later criticizes Ebert for shooting a portrait angle for television.
So here you are. Oh, there he is. Hey, give me another shot there. Oh, look at that.
What Roger didn't realize is that you'd have to turn your TV on its side to see this picture the right way.
Or, you could just turn the photograph 90 degrees to properly format it for television. I get the feeling Siskel might have told the editors not to adjust the photo so that he could mock Ebert for his photography skills. Also, remember this comment for later, because in another special, he'll make the exact same mistake. So there's another commercial break, but before that, Robert Englund reveals his ideal movie for Christmas, which is...
The movie I would like for Christmas on home video would be White of the Eye, the best movie I saw last year, with David Keith and Kathy Raging Bull Moriarty, a terrific movie that bears repeated viewing.
White of the eye? Damn, Freddy Krueger has amazing taste. Anyway, Roger Ebert once more talks about LaserDiscs, and I guess some people were still confused about the format at the time, so he gives an easy-to-understand guide to understand the differences between VHS and LaserDisc.
This, you've seen it before, is a VHS video cassette.
Thanks,
which
Raj.
has become the international standard for home video viewing. And this is a LaserDisc, which represents the next generation for home video fans. You can think of a LaserDisc as sort of a great big compact disc that plays pictures as well as sound. The difference between this and this is that a LaserDisc delivers a much better video picture, 60% better, and sound that can be as good or better as many movie theaters.
This whole segment is more educational, as Ebert talks about improved image definition and to divulge the future of HDTV. And it's kind of tricky to explain through a 4:3 standard definition broadcast, but Ebert does a decent job conveying the information.
Every image we see on a TV screen is made up of lines of electronic information. You can see it up close. You notice lines of black in between the colors. With a new system called Improved Definition Television, or IDTV, which is now on sale, those lines of black are filled in with picture information to make the picture sharper and more realistic. An even bigger change will take place in 5 to 10 years with the advent of high-definition television. High def will be a completely new system for broadcasting television pictures. It will mean screens change their shape to become more like a movie theater screen, and they will contain twice or 3 times as much information. Their images might look like this. If you had the widescreen television of the future, this incredibly sharp video would fill the screen.
It's fascinating just how accurate Ebert was in predicting the future of HDTV. Widescreen HDTVs were still many years away, so Roger schools the audience on the benefits of LaserDiscs that offer letterbox displays. Gene Siskel managed to get his own predictions for the future as well.
I think a lot of people are wary of LaserDiscs because they think it's just going to be a momentary fad, and then that HDTV is around the corner. I think HDTV is, best guess, at least 7 to 10 years away from being in the home. I think you will not be wasting your money to invest $600 in a LaserDisc player, because the quality is so much better that every time we mention a cassette on this show or on our regular show, I feel like people are getting cheated in a way because they're not buying a LaserDisc, and so they're not getting the sound.
They then make some LaserDisc recommendations that I'm going to skip over for copyright reasons. But I will say Ebert recommends one of my favorite Ozu films, Floating Weeds. It's one of the director's few color films and is a great drama about an acting troupe visiting a town and trying to mend a broken relationship. Ebert brings up the improved picture quality and the more readable subtitles. They're better than his previous recommendation of letterbox bars acting as a background for the text, but I'm not exactly a fan of the blurry white border they used. It's more readable, but also very distracting. And then it's time for another field trip, but this time into other people's homes, and not just Roger Ebert's. First, Gene Siskel visits a home that has 3 TVs on one level, and then a giant home theater set up in the basement with a projector. The basement's design is a little odd because there's this glass wall which apparently hides the water heater, furnace, and pipes. And yeah, all that's clever, but wow, is the room going to age bizarrely. I hope they at least change the decor in that room. Siskel and Ebert then cover a piece of technology that I'm sure every kid of the 1990s hated.
This is an intelligent television with a tuner here that allows the TV to do lots of things. If you're worried that the kids might tune into the wrong channel, you want to supervise what channels are available to them, JVC has introduced televisions that won't let your children turn those channels on at all. Now let's experiment with Gene. Now Gene, let's say that you're a film critic, and so that the show that you hate the most is the Siskel and Ebert program, because you think that those two guys are so smart that it just makes you seem like you're not even necessary.
I love how Ebert had the perfect opportunity there to insult Siskel, and he doesn't do it. He could have easily just said that he doesn't want to see Gene's face on his television, and he didn't take it. Just, what a guy.
Now here we look at the television set here, and if we go to channel 3, oh my God, there is Gene Siskel, such an intelligent critic that we've got to get rid of him.
Oh, he's just so damn sweet here.
Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to set the channel guard here. It says set, and I want to set number 1. Okay, now that's it. And so now you see if you're going through, there's channel 2, and then the next one is channel 5, you see. It won't stop at channel 3.
Oh, but it gets worse, kids, because the TV can do far more than just block channels.
The other thing that they have on here is they call it the home sitter option, which allows you to knock out the use of the television set for a prescribed number of hours.
Yeah, so that you can block out times of day and specific channels from the kids.
All right, so we know how to shield our children from stuff on television, but what can they watch? Well, Siskel recommends the VHS release of Bambi, a video storybook of Cat in the Hat, and Pee-wee's Playhouse.
And the Pee-wee's Playhouse tapes really stand up to repeated viewing because he puts so much into each frame, so much is going on that you won't catch it all on just one screening. I can also report that my 3-year-old daughter enjoyed chewing on the attractive box while watching the tape.
What? Oh, okay, I guess the VHS cover is tasty for whatever insight that might be worth.
A lot of parents do use video cassettes as babysitters.
Absolutely.
Stick the kid in front of the set, tell him to shut up and watch the movie for hours on end. And that's a shame because kids can also be looking at picture books or playing with things and learning to do things with their hands and their minds and their eyes. So I think, really, along with the kiddie TV, cassettes ought to come this little gadget to help turn off the TV once in a while so the kids can do something else and just sit there and become junior couch potatoes.
Lest you think the video babysitter is an exaggeration, I would like to point out the video series called Vidsy, a tape that is literally referring to its central character as a video babysitter. And it's creepy.
I'm Bitsy, and I know lots of things. I live right in your own TV.
And lest you think that Siskel and Ebert were going too easy on parents restricting children from television, there's this juicy anecdote.
I just participated in a conference of the American Pediatric Association where we were talking about the influence of television and movies on children, and more than one doctor recommended flat out take out the television set. Just simply remove it. It's very difficult. It's so difficult to control what's coming across on TV. They were saying that the best solution is just to get rid of it.
So yeah, get rid of your television that you're using for this program for the sake of your child's development. But if you don't do that, Siskel and Ebert have some music videotapes to recommend to you.
Okay, another popular gift video area is music on video.
After a commercial break, Siskel and Ebert investigate a new Japanese technology that is taking America by storm in the late 1980s. Take a wild guess what you think it is.
Continuing our holiday video gift guide, a home video idea that comes from Japan, where the karaoke bar is a place where people gather to sing along with LaserDiscs of background music and pop songs, and the words are printed right on the screen.
After interviewing karaoke patrons, Siskel and Ebert try out a home karaoke system, and the sparks fly.
And now live, the pride of Urbana, Illinois, Roger Ebert singing California Dreamin'. He's both the mamas and the papas.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The leaves are brown, and the sky is gray.
Something reminds me of Cass Elliot, but not the voice.
I've been for a walk. No cheap shots. I'm trying to do something here on a winter's day.
Is singing what you're trying to do?
I'd be safe and warm.
What a man trying.
I would not interrupt you while you were singing. Go ahead.
Let's see if that's possible.
See how well you can do.
California Dreamin'.
That's terrible.
Okay, that's enough of that. On to 1990.
This is the annual Siskel and Ebert Holiday Video Gift Guide. It's a program devoted to video software and hardware gifts that you might want to give or receive this holiday season.
For the 1990 special, the critics have ditched the den for what seems like a news desk with TVs behind them. I don't like it. I miss the homey feel that makes the specials feel less like a Consumer Reports broadcast and more like, you know, two dudes just hanging out in their den and showing you all the cool stuff they have. So the special begins with some recommendations of recent hits, now out on home video. But with video store rentals being a big deal in the 1990s, Gene comes up with an alternative gift that just sounds awful.
Maybe this would be a good holiday gift. A gift certificate at a rental store, but only one that a critic would come up with, and that is, you must rent these films. So you give the person the gift, and here's the ones that you can rent. You like that idea?
Well, kind of controlling, Jim.
I like that.
Maybe people might be able to rent the films that they want to choose.
No, anyone can do that. A critic would want to do this.
Gene Siskel then goes out into the field to test a portable camcorder. He attempts to use it in such a way that is so terrible, even the camera crew have to intervene.
How could I portray this in a more interesting way? I mean, I could tilt. This won't work?
No, sideways. I mean, you know, the building will be like this if you do it on TV. Like if
you can't tilt. You can't tilt.
It's a lens, you know.
I promise you won't tell anyone that I didn't know that.
After some new release recommendations, Siskel and Ebert highlight their guilty pleasures, and you better believe they hassled each other over these choices. First, Gene is laughing at Roger for liking the melodrama of Stella starring Bette Midler.
She's gonna raise her veil in a minute when he kisses her. I gotta see her face.
And, of course, that's her daughter, who is being married now, Gene.
Now we know
how could anyone have a heart of stone so cold that you were able to resist this scene?
I think all of America, actually, more at least all of America's critics. Now we know why they call them guilty pleasures. You are absolutely guilty.
Then, it's Roger's turn to laugh at Gene, loving the absurd dance movie Lambada.
This is the movie that had the goofiest finale of the year, or maybe any year. It turns out that there isn't a dance contest at the end. There's a trigonometry contest at the end between high school students. They looked like they were in high school, didn't they, Roger? Sure.
Yeah.
It was like two different movies were spliced together, and I thought the combination was hilarious. Maybe you just want to rent this one rather than buy it. But
my memory may fail me, but I think when we first reviewed this film, I thought the combination was hilarious, and you were saying that it was uplifting and educational and made you feel good.
No. I was sitting in the theater, and I found myself captivated. It was like watching a train wreck, and it was funny.
Well, when you were captivated, you should have, blown a whistle or something. They would have come in and rescued you.
So after all that feuding, Ebert then goes over home theater audio systems and offers valuable lessons on speaker placement based on how movie theaters are set up. But the strangest home video setup is the device called Expandiview. Basically, it's a giant magnifying glass that blows up your TV screen into a larger projection on the wall. The one benefit of this system is that apparently it can be formatted to remove the letterboxed bars from your 4x3 television. But at $2,400, it wasn't cheap. We then get the home video recommendations of new LaserDiscs, classic television shows, and kids videos. The one kid video worth mentioning from this show is Gene's recommendation of We Sing in Sillyville, with a clip highlighting a song about nuts.
I'm an acorn small and round, lying on the cocoa ground. Everybody steps on me, that is why I'm cracked, you see. I'm a nut. 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 You know what my reaction to seeing that is, you're going to watch where you step from now on. And kids, of course, believe everything is alive like that, and I think it's a real healthy series.
Let's hope they're not so paralyzed they can't walk through the woods anymore after being traumatized by it.
Then we get more Gene Siskel tech reviews by testing home video editing systems. This is his chance to undo that terrible footage he shot earlier. I'm not joking, he literally uses the editing player for that purpose.
Okay, here's my shot of the Sears Tower, and I thought this was getting boring after a while, and so I thought, well, I'll just turn the camera on its side and I'll get a sort of horizontal look at it. Catastrophe for me and for the building. Let's fix it. Copy the first good shot of the Sears Tower from the camera tape in Deck 1 onto the recording tape in Deck 2. Fast forward through all that tilted footage I shot, and then make an edit to the wider shot of the Sears Tower. There's the Sears Tower right there, upright. In a second, we'll see the edit to the long shot. Right about there is where I was going to tilt it over, and there's the edit to the long shot.
Finally, after some musical and music video recommendations, it's time for more video games. In the last special, they covered the Nintendo Entertainment System, so obviously they played the next big contender in the console wars. So, of course, they try out some games on the TurboGrafx system.
The industry leader is Nintendo, but NEC is gaining ground with a video game system called TurboGrafx, which is built around a more advanced computer chip that produces better sound and better pictures and more sophisticated games. And Gene and I have a game here where we are going to race each other. He's in the white car, I'm on the green car.
On the bottom?
After I push the button, you'll be on top, and I'll be on bottom.
That's the way I like it.
Hey, whoa, Gene, phrasing.
Here we go. I'm going to hit the button, and are you ready to play?
You got it, big boy. You played lots of hours on this, haven't you? We'll see if all that hard work's paid off.
I
I've played this game twice before right now, just like you. No. I've never played this particular game before. Have you ever crashed? Whoa, I hardly ever do. I'm very coordinated. You ever go, like, slower on purpose? No. You just go flat out all the way? Yeah. I kind of... Oh, that's 3. Can't take it more seriously than you. Yeah, I know. That's your problem. I'm much more competitive than you. I'm going to take time out from losing here to thank you for watching the Siskel and Ebert Holiday Video Gift Guide Special. As we always say this time of year, season screenings, everyone. Have a good one.
They're not done yet, and Ebert actually gets revenge on Siskel for winning last year. And wow, does he relish that victory.
I think this might be more relevant than the driver's test, where you ask, you know, what sign is triangular. Yeah, that doesn't come into play a whole lot in real life, does it? Not really, no. I think this is more valuable. Like, basically, I should have my license revoked. You know it's going to be Roger. You know, you have time to go out for a sandwich. I'm finished. What are you doing? Are you still in the race?
Okay, so the current holiday gift guide game score up to this point is Gene 1, Roger 1. Tie game so far, so let's see who comes out on top in the 1991 special.
Welcome to the annual Siskel and Ebert Holiday Special, in which we leave the balcony to check out the latest gadgets and films available for you to use at home or give as gifts to friends and relatives, or maybe even a colleague at work. In fact, at the end of the show, Roger and I will each pick out a special gift for each other.
This is the first time they've actually done a gift exchange on the holiday specials. And I'm honestly surprised they even got around to doing one. It doesn't seem like it's in their nature, but hey, you know, they're kind of warming up to each other. So we start the special with the standard recommendations for new releases, and also include some old B movies released on home video for the first time. And I love how much fun Siskel and Ebert have when talking about this resurgence of cult drive-in movies like Blood of Dracula and How to Make a Monster.
How many actors would have liked to have done that to the production executive?
I always wonder where the monster shops for his workout uniform.
Those drive-in movies from the 50s have a really genuinely innocent charm. You could see it in ad scenes from How to Make a Monster. They don't seem so serious as the typically bloated and safe multi-million-dollar productions of today. They dared to be silly, and maybe that's why I think the Naked Gun movies and the Hot Shot spoofs have been so popular. So many movies today take themselves too seriously, not those. And I could see people having theme parties at home. You rent a couple of those and set it up like a drive-in in your house, could be great.
And those movies have not been available on video at all up until now, because the original thought was, who would ever want to see them? But
they're fun.
There might be somebody who does.
More of Gene Siskel's tech reviews follow, this time focusing on a Steadicam compatible with camcorders. He tries it out at a local restaurant and seems to do a pretty good job with it. He doesn't have trouble maneuvering the camera, so Gene actually knows what he's doing here. However, Gene omitted something from his demonstration: the Steadicam assembly.
I mentioned that the instruction booklet is kind of easy. I should point out that I did not...
Needs to be easy for you.
No, more than that, Roger. I did not assemble the Steadicam JR. It was done for me by someone on the staff. I don't think I could have assembled the Steadicam JR, and I want to point that out to be fair.
Oh, but don't worry. Gene is given another chance to prove his technical skills with another hardware demonstration. But not before Ebert makes fun of him a bit.
Every year on this program, I get to have a lot of fun pointing out how incompetent Gene is with electronic gear.
It's true.
The other day, I saw you trying to use a computer mouse by waving it in the air. You didn't even know that it had to go on a table before it was moved around.
And you did, and that's kind of sad.
Yes, I did.
Oh, Gene, honey, no. Mocking Roger for being a nerd who knows how to use a computer mouse is not the burn you think it is. That ineptitude was being joked about in a Star Trek movie a few years prior.
Hello, computer.
Gene is so hopeless, his idea of using a computer is to dictate his thoughts to someone who has one.
Thank you.
Like me. But now, Gene, I understand there's a new product on the market that will allow even you to program a VCR. This has been an annual theme on this show, how to program the VCR.
The hardware Gene uses this time is the VCR Plus, which functions through programmable numbers located in TV Guide. It's a more efficient version of that barcode scanner from the previous holiday special.
Let's say I want to record The Price is Right, which is playing right now this morning here in Chicago. I look into my TV Guide or many major newspapers around the country. I find out its code. It's 757. 8, 6. I punch in one time. I want to record just this show in progress. And watch, I have a feeling we're going to see Bob Barker pop up here, showing you what it's working. Here's the blinking light sending the signal to the VCR. And pretty soon, right now, as you see, it's 10:17. We're 17 minutes into the show this morning. And hey, the heartfelt collection. There's one of the model's hands.
Okay, so the device clearly works, but Gene needs to see Bob Barker to make sure that he did not mess up.
Pretty soon we'll see Bob. There he is. It works.
It just works.
But now comes the real test. Gene decides to input a code to record the Siskel and Ebert program and only check if the tape was recorded properly on the holiday special. That's a bit of a gamble. Let's see if it pays off.
Okay, now let's find out the results of the test. This is the VCR Plus that I used. I'm really optimistic.
Okay, and here's the VCR. We ought to emphasize, by the way, this product will work with any VCR, including the one people already have, right?
I want to know if it worked with this one.
Okay, I'm going to push play, and I'm going to see if you successfully record it off the air. Let's see what happens here.
Stalks Wednesday, only on
That's
Channel
a promo for our station here in Chicago.
Yeah.
This week.
There it is.
You did it! I'm absolutely thunderstruck. This is the first time in your entire career you've ever done anything correctly involving electronics.
This is great. This is great.
I just love how proud Gene is that he was able to figure out the VCR Plus, and also how stunned Ebert is that he actually got it working. It's a Christmas miracle! The VCR works! It is then time for the annual celebration of LaserDiscs. But Ebert does something a little different this time. Instead of bragging about the format himself, Roger interviews Danny DeVito about LaserDiscs and how he used it for his film, The War of the Roses.
Danny's special collector's edition includes the following exclusive features. If you could talk about some of these on your disc, it might help people to understand the fact that they're also available on a lot of other discs.
Yes, they are. You can most movies you can buy on LaserDisc. Right now you can go to. Well, I have widescreen presentation, which just simply means that I didn't pan and scan or anything. I just took the film exactly what we shot. So that's what you get here. You get the exact thing that the filmmakers wanted.
Now, some people complain about that. They don't want the black band at the top and bottom. They feel like they're getting cheated.
I'm the of the other school. I believe you're getting cheated when you don't see exactly what there are films that you can rent like now on video where two people are talking, they're not on screen. You see the nose and the eye of one of them, and maybe a cheek comes in on the other because they don't even take the time to pan and scan sometimes. And so you're not getting the exact thing. If David Lean does a shot, when Lars is holding that match and blows it out, and you want to see that escape. That's the thing that he had in his mind.
Man, I really wish DeVito had his own show where he talked about film. He's just so much fun to listen to. So DeVito talks a little bit about these special features on his War of the Roses Laserdisc, and then makes a great case for physical media.
We're always squawking about, our stuff going off and being burned up and being misused and forgotten and stuff. I think it's a great thing for all filmmakers to do this because it's a record. I have my couple of years' work right here in this little box.
And 100 years from now, they can still.
No, I'm not going to throw it away. No, hold on to it.
It's mine. That's mine. No, that's not yours.
Oh, this is yours. Oh, sorry.
There are then the usual recommendations of old TV shows and music videos and such, but as always, the most hilarious reactions were from the kid video recommendations. In this case, Siskel recommends Barney, a dinosaur who insists he loves us even though he doesn't know us.
You want Barney to get out from behind that window and play, and I think that's the key there. The Barney tapes work because you like Barney.
I don't like Barney that much.
You don't know Barney.
Maybe I'd get to know Barney and then I'd like him better, yes.
The big video game match is coming up between Siskel and Ebert, but first, here's Michael Caine either telling us what he wants for Christmas or cautiously speaking with a video store employee while trying not to cry.
I'd like The Third Man. That's my favorite film, really. The Third Man.
He just looks so sad. Just give the man his movie already. But also, before the big game, there's the gift exchange.
Gene, you know the holidays come but once a year, and I decided to give you a present of one of the products on this show, and my choice is the VCR Plus by Jim Star, because now you can join the rest of the human race in taping your favorite programs off of television.
Not much of the human race, because most people can't and have never done this. And I think you're actually going to buy me this product?
Yes, that's yours. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Look what I've got for you. I know this is one of your favorite movies.
Oh, yes, it is.
Do you have this LaserDisc?
I do not have the widescreen edition, no.
This is the definitive edition because Walter Murch and Vittorio Storaro, the sound man and cinematographer on the picture, have reworked this for the film for this.
Very kind. This is a present for me. Very kind of you,
I will
Gene.
get you this, I promise.
I'm going to keep it.
Okay, enough of this mushy show of emotion. It's now time for Siskel and Ebert to duke it out on the best new video game console of 1991. The Philips CDI. No, I'm just kidding. It's Super Nintendo.
And we're set up for a game of something called
tennis.
Super Tennis. Now, okay.
All right, I'm going to start serving.
You are?
Yeah, return it.
Okay. Hey!
Roger, I play tennis. This is very realistic sound. It's very good. Come on, Colette. Look at, you're good. Look at this return. Look at this. Look at these. This is not easy. Get over. Hey! Get over. So you can move. All right, I'm going to try and fake you out on the serve here. I can move her around, see?
Uh-huh. Yes, you can.
Oh.
Whoa!
You're not that good. I haven't scored a point yet. Come on, Colette. Punch it. Yes!
Oh!
I'm going to come back. I'm going to win my serve.
You faked me out there.
Yeah. Come on, move over, honey. Yeah, Mitch, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. The graphics are fabulous here. This is my favorite video game. All right, down the center.
You don't have any...
Down the center. Come on, Colette. Yes.
It's the only video game you've ever played. What do you mean it's your favorite?
Ooh, I'm going to have to call a foul on Roger Ebert for that play. Gene hasn't played that many video games, sure, but we've got video evidence of him playing Duck Hunt, Missile Defender, Tecmo Bowl, and a racing game for the TurboGrafx. He's allowed to have a favorite. Don't gatekeep here, Ebert. Just because you got a few levels into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles doesn't make you a gatekeeper of gaming.
Keep talking, it's deuce. You got a 40-love lead. Down the center, Colette.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Colette, I'm going to spin it out to the side here. No, I'm not. Move it over. Down the middle. Yes. Okay, Colette. This is really exciting. I just won the game.
And there you have it. Current score, Gene 2, Roger 1. I tell you, things are not looking good for Ebert in these specials. He comes off strong with the tech talk, and that gives him an advantage. But Gene's closing the gap with his better knowledge of VCRs and Steadicams. That could explain why he's been dominating Roger thus far. He could be the victor of these holiday gift guides. Roger will have one more chance to tie the score, but for 1992's guide, they take a break from games for a little halftime musical entertainment, as you'll see.
When I was a kid, I never wanted to get stuff like socks and shirts for Christmas. I wanted to get fun stuff, and I still feel that way on our annual Siskel and Ebert Holiday Video Gift Guide, a program devoted to video software and hardware gifts that you might want to give, or even better, receive this holiday season.
We start off with more LaserDisc recommendations and another wellness check on the perceptions of the format. And apparently, consumers back then were still unsure about how to insert a LaserDisc.
The other thing that I want to deal with is why more people don't have LaserDiscs. We've been talking about it for years, and I think that they're, one, afraid of the technology, just generally.
Yeah.
Let me use myself as an example, because I'm...
You're afraid of all technology.
I am, but I got a LaserDisc very early on, and they're really quite simple. All you have to do is buy this little machine and slip it in and push a button. It's very simple.
Like a tape. You just plug it into your TV and start playing the disc. You
it's very easy to operate.
You don't even need to be any smarter than you are to operate.
Thank you.
So, remember those video phones that Siskel and Ebert were using a few holiday specials back? Well, they've got some new versions this time around that actually do video. This time they test out the AT&T video phone and actually tested the phones from different locations this time. Even apart and over the phone, their feuding is still amusing.
Okay, I'm going to try to place a call to Gene on this AT&T video phone.
I'm about to go to bed, and each night before I go to bed, I'd like to know that Roger is safe. Hello?
Oh, hi, Gene. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Are you safe? You're okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Yes, were you concerned?
How was the flight? All right?
Oh, it was all right,
Good.
yes.
All right, you got in?
Yes, well, we had a lot of turbulence.
Are you under the covers now?
No. What?
Again, it's impressive that a video like this was being sent over the phone line. Not great video, mind you, but, you know, credit where it's due.
Oh, look at that, you see? Now, the strange thing is that you kind of move in little kind of slow-motion special effects there. As I look at you here, you bear an amazing resemblance to Henry, the serial killer.
Thank you. And
That's
Roger,
okay.
my kid, could you just hold that pose because my kids are carving their pumpkin?
Gene and I conducted a series of highly non-scientific experiments to see how well the AT&T video phone worked. First, Gene wanted to show me what was holding up his pants.
Oh no, Roger's about to get some grainy crotch shot action from Gene Siskel.
Okay, but Raj, can you tell anything special about the belt, or does it look plain to you?
No, it looks like it's a belt. I can't see any details. I see a little glint
there's a little
that looks like it might be a buckle.
There's a little sewn edge. Yeah, I see
what this shot reminds me of more than anything else is Lyndon Johnson pointing to his gallbladder scar. Then I wanted to see if Gene could identify one of my favorite desktop characters.
Hey, there's Mickey.
Can you see him?
Very cute.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's
Do
see.
you sleep with that?
No, I don't, Gene, as a matter of fact.
And then Roger Ebert says goodnight with one more insult for the road.
All right, I'm going to go brush my teeth. I'll see you.
I wish you would. Even over the video phone, I can see that you need to.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The consensus on the phones is still the same. It's worth it if you're living far away from someone and want to see their face while you're talking to them. But it's likely not ideal for local calls. Might be decent for phone sex, though. Roger Ebert then reviews the Miracle Piano. This was a piano that could hook up to your computer or Nintendo system with software designed for teaching you how to play the piano. This feels like equal footing for Ebert's disadvantage. Siskel wasn't good at recording off the VCR, and Ebert didn't know how to play the piano. And did he pull it off? Well, you'll find out later in the show. After some music video recommendations, Siskel takes a look at the Kodak video disc system. It's a CD-based system that lets you not only view photo files from a CD on your television, but also edit them with the cropping feature. And Gene does seem to be very confident using the cropping tool here.
This lets me take just a section of the photograph. All right, now I don't want that part. I might want more of the fire hydrant, so I'm going to move it over. And now let's take a look. And I really see the thickness of the paint on the photograph. In fact, I think you'd argue that that is a much more pleasing and interesting photograph than the one we saw before.
So Gene doesn't recommend the product because it is too expensive at $550, even though the system doubles as a CD music player. But he does acknowledge that photographers might get a kick out of the edit function on the player. Ebert, however, shows up Siskel by talking about the advantages of digital images.
I'm more intrigued in it than you are, Gene, and one of the things I know about this system, being a computer nut, which I am, is that you can actually connect these photographs to your computer, download the photographs onto the computer disk, size them, and put them into documents, like those little letters that people send out at Christmas time. You could rent pictures of your family and tell people what you've been doing.
Bore them in print and in photographs.
That's right.
Siskel then returns to reviewing gadgets that help with recording TV with your VCR. Now, Siskel had good luck last time with the VCR Plus, where he had to input the code to program the VCR. So this next device should be even easier to use because it's the voice-activated VCR voice programmer. It not only recognizes voice commands for recording, but also for every function of the VCR, which Gene gleefully demonstrates here.
Play. Fast forward. Stop.
It just works. Much like last year, Siskel performs another test using the programmer to record the Siskel and Ebert show, then reveal the results on the holiday gift guide. So let's see if he doesn't screw up anything this time. Last time he had good luck. Let's see if it happens again.
Okay, let's see if the VCR voice programmer really works. I'm going to press, let's see if it really recorded our show. Here we go. Press the VCR button and then say the magic word. Play.
I think if you push the tape in, Gene, it will probably work better.
Oh, he was so close to not screwing up.
Okay, now why don't you try it again?
It really does help, huh?
Yeah.
Play.
Hey! Well, hey, it's our show. Hey, congratulations.
It actually works.
Remember, you push the tape in, or otherwise you can't push the tape in for itself.
You're such a smarty pants.
He was so close to not screwing up here. But hey, at least he got the recording right and impressed Ebert once again with his skills at recording TV shows. Now it's time for another kid video recommendation segment, and this is easily the funniest one out of all the holiday gift guides. To start off, Ebert's choice for a kid video is, well, there are too many easy jokes to make about this one.
And my first choice, in all seriousness I might add, is a musical tape named It's Potty Time, which I looked at because this is a major bestseller around the country. It uses the sing-along techniques of other popular kiddie videos to teach its young viewers about one of the indispensable social skills.
It's okay if you don't need to go right now, Katie. Just let me know when you do need to go to the potty.
You know, points to Ebert for professionally reviewing a potty training tape. You got to remember, these were wild times for VHS. Everything was going to video. Music videos, exercise routines, cooking shows, travelogues, and methods for disposing of your bodily waste. As for Gene's recommendation, it's not about poop and pee, but it's certainly baffling enough to warrant a laugh out of Ebert.
And for small children, I'd like to recommend Farm Animals Close Up and Very Personal, which is great for little ones who can't get to a petting zoo. You know, I like those shots. When I go with my kids to like a county fair and we look at the farm animals, you want to see how they make they want to see how they make the sound. So getting really tight and seeing, you know, the tongue make the sound. It's
Was
great.
this really the best kid vid you could find?
This is
close-ups of sheep.
Roger, this is, you laughed about, I'm not going to laugh about potty training. This is also a bestseller too, and it is very highly recommended. And if you are blessed with little ones, you're going to buy it.
Well, I think if I were that age, I'd rather learn about my potty techniques than look at those sheep.
What scares me is that I know that you would.
You are not having a stroke right now. You are really seeing Siskel and Ebert arguing about which videotape is better, the one about potty training or the one with petting zoo footage. Now, before the segment on home theaters, we get Tim Robbins and Billy Crystal talking about what they want for Christmas, which, as it turns out, is their own movies.
Oh, I'll be shameless, the player.
And why?
Because no one sent me a copy of it.
City Slickers.
Why?
Because I'm in it and I have points.
For the home theater portion, there are two different types looked at by Siskel and Ebert. Siskel reviews a very practical room for a THX sound system and projector that looks pretty good. Meanwhile, Ebert looks at a more accurate movie theater recreation, complete with a ticket booth and theater seats. That's the stuff of dreams more than it is practical. Finally, after some comedy video recommendations, it's time for Ebert to play us out with some Christmas music on the piano.
I have prepared a holiday song, Gene, and I thought that if I had...
Is it a complicated one?
No, I don't think so.
Why? How long have you been playing, actually? How many hours did you put in your three
You're looking,
sessions?
Gene, at a guy who has spent a good 2 hours learning to play the piano. Okay?
Really dedicated.
So if I play, I want you to sing.
If I know the song, I shall.
think you might. Here we go.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. This is sort of an American version of karaoke.
American No. No, it's not, Gene. You're just singing.
Try the left hand. Let's see.
I can't play anything with the left hand.
Let's see. Let's show us.
Well, first of all, it's chords. And the problem with the chords is I can't get my... See, I can't get this finger.
Your fourth finger. You can't get it to move? Not bad. You're playing only one chord over and over and over.
I can't play anything with my left hand. Of course this is good.
And with that, we've arrived at the final holiday gift guide from 1993. And you can really tell this was the last one for how little it feels. Siskel and Ebert are no longer on a unique set for their special, but just sitting in the same balcony they use for their regular episodes. The special's running time has also been cut in half from an hour down to half an hour. Don't worry though, you will get to see the final match of Siskel and Ebert's video game battle by the end of the special.
All sorts of videos, LaserDiscs, gifts, and gadgets we're going to be reviewing on our annual Siskel and Ebert Holiday Video Gift Guide. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune, and obviously somebody gave us a couple of gifts. Ties. You don't get to see this very often in the balcony.
Okay, they don't have a cool set, but, you know, hey, at least they dressed up. And so they go through the usual recommendations of new releases. But I loved how affectionately they talked about Matinee. I mean, that is such an underrated film. It has a special place in my heart.
Matinee, it's funny all times of day. That's the kind of ad they would run for this picture.
Yeah, it is a very good picture, and I especially enjoyed the scenes within the movie showing that movie Mant.
Yes.
You know, is he man or ant?
Roger Ebert then reviews a CD-ROM that I absolutely adored when I was younger. It's Microsoft's Cinemania, and it's essentially Encarta but for movies. And if you don't know what Encarta is, a better description of Cinemania would be that it's essentially the Internet Movie Database before there was an Internet Movie Database.
Microsoft Cinemania 94 brings together on one CD-ROM an enormous amount of movie data, written, spoken, musical, and visual. And you can search through the information in many different ways. For example, click and you're looking at a scene from Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey. Click again and you're looking at career information about the director. Kubrick makes you think about Fellini, and you want to hear some of the soundtrack music from Federico Fellini's 8½.
I would just spend so much time sifting through all the movie clips, audio clips, and reviews of the many movies documented in this encyclopedic movie guide. And I still remember this was the software that introduced me to films like Casablanca and Diner. Now, Ebert does come clean with a bit of conflict of interest, as his movie reviews are included on the disc.
And it includes all 19,000 entries from Leonard Maltin's movie and video guide, plus the complete text of Pauline Kael's 5001 Nights at the Movies, Ephraim Katz's Film Encyclopedia, and, I might as well add, the complete contents of my own book, Roger Ebert's Video Companion.
The 97 version also consists of a guided tour by Roger Ebert, where he narrates with insight as he highlights different movie titles and celebrity profiles, and essentially just guides you through the program saying, look at this cool stuff, and look at this cool stuff. It wasn't just Roger Ebert, though. Like, there were a few other celebrities who did these guided tours through Cinemania, and I particularly love the one by John Waters. I mean, that one's just fun to listen to. Gene Siskel then reviews a camcorder while taking his family on a vacation through China. He does pretty well here, and it's a practical use for a camera like this. And now it is time for the main event, the final video game showdown between Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel. And for their 1993 match, well, they already played on the Super Nintendo, so naturally they'll be playing on that console's biggest competition, the Atari Jaguar. No, I'm kidding, it's the Sega Genesis, you know that. And this time, they're going to play a boxing game using the full body activator controls. So they'll literally be throwing punches and delivering kicks while fighting each other.
My boxer is named Stinky Cooper.
I don't think I want to know how he got his nickname.
I like it better than Eugene. What's your boxer's name?
Eugene Green. Let's box.
Let's box.
Let's get ready to rumble! Round one.
You got nice shorts, Rod. I'm referring to the boxer.
Oh.
Very close.
So, what do you mean close? I won.
This round, let's go for round two.
Okay, round two, here we go.
How about it? You gonna walk up? Here, I got you. Uh-oh, I'm cut.
Oh, I should win this round. Oh, crushed me. You crushed me.
30 to 15. I landed 30 blows. You had to land at 15?
Unbelievable.
Hey, Stinky is coming up here. He's only 20th ranked. It's time for an upset. I'm tiring.
I think the only way I can win is with a knockout. I knocked him out!
Oh, no!
I knocked him out in the last second!
Oh, no, and I was ahead on points!
And it's all over. Gene Siskel wins the match with the final score Gene 3 and Roger 1. So while Roger Ebert might have had the edge with being big into tech, it wasn't enough to beat Gene Siskel's skills. And so, Gene Siskel has won the title of being the superior film critic gamer on Siskel and Ebert. And there you have it, my favorite moments from Siskel and Ebert's holiday gift guides. I know this is a break from my usual videos where I go more in depth on movie topics, but it's the holidays and I wanted to do something a little fun. Like watch Gene Siskel get pissed off at Lady Lovelylocks.
I'm too busy to enter the adventure.
Why, thank you.
I've got to go home. I couldn't interact with Lady Lovelylocks.
But seriously, folks, it's been a fantastic year for this channel, and I wanted to thank all the patrons on Patreon and the members here on YouTube who have made all these videos possible. There's plenty more video essays and movie reviews on the way for next year, and I hope you'll all join me in 2026. So until then, enjoy your holidays, spend them with someone you love, and watch some good movies.